I never thought the woman I loved would turn my world upside down like that, and certainly not in front of everyone we knew. What was meant to be a celebration turned into one of the most painful nights of my life. The evening was arranged to honor my wife, Clara, for achieving a significant promotion at her company. We hosted the event at our house, a modest yet elegant gathering. Her colleagues, her manager, and close friends all showed up, and the atmosphere was filled with laughter and cheerful conversation. I was proud of her, genuinely happy to see her succeed. But as the night unfolded, things began to shift. About an hour into the party, Clara had her second or third glass of wine. She wasn't new to drinking, but that night, it seemed to affect her differently. Her laughter became louder, her gestures more exaggerated, and her attention increasingly focused on her boss. At first, I tried to convince myself I was imagining things. But when she leaned in close to him, resting her hand on his chest and whispering something that made him laugh deeply, my stomach twisted. I stood there, unable to move, while her co-workers cast brief, uncomfortable glances in my direction. It felt as though I'd become invisible in my own home, a spectator watching my wife flirt openly, while others silently watched, unsure how to react. Clara wandered past me at one point, her eyes avoiding mine entirely as she reached for another drink. That's when I noticed Julia, her closest friend, sitting quietly on the couch. She had been watching everything unfold, her expression unreadable, while slowly sipping her drink. I walked over and sat down beside her. "Not exactly how you pictured tonight going, huh?" she asked softly. I didn't respond. I simply looked at her, and she held my gaze. The air between us grew thick with unspoken emotion, and in that moment, something inside me snapped. I leaned in and kissed her. For a moment, I expected her to pull away, to push me off or slap me. But instead, she kissed me back. And as fate would have it, that was the exact moment Clara turned around and caught us. The sound of glass shattering hit the floor as her wine slipped from her hand. She stormed over, her face red with rage. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she screamed. Julia stood up, but before she could say anything, Clara slapped her across the face. "You're supposed to be my best friend." Clara shouted. Julia didn't back down. "And you were rubbing yourself all over your boss all night like your husband wasn't even here. You embarrassed him in front of everyone." The entire room fell into a tense silence. All eyes were on us. "You don't get to play the victim, Clara," Julia continued through gritted teeth. "You humiliated him first." "Get out." Clara screamed at her. Gladly, Julia shot back, grabbing her purse and walking out without another word. Clara then turned her rage toward me, tears streaking down her face. "How could you do this to me? In front of everyone?" I stared back at her with a coldness I didn't even know I had. "Exactly the way you acted with your boss tonight. Now you know how it feels." Slowly, her co-workers began gathering their things and leaving the house one by one, offering no words as they slipped out. Her boss was the last to leave. As he walked toward her, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder, I stepped between them. "She's fine," I said firmly. "You can go." He hesitated, glanced at her, then quietly walked out. That night, Clara and I didn't speak another word. She slept in the guest room while I stayed in ours. The silence was heavier than any argument we might have had. It filled every corner of the house like a thick fog. The next morning, I got up early, emotions still raw. When she finally entered the kitchen, her face was puffy from crying. She looked at me, struggling to find the right words. "I screwed up," she said quietly. "I didn't realize how much I was hurting you last night. I thought it was harmless. I was wrong." I exhaled heavily. "I messed up too," I admitted. "What I did with Julia, it wasn't about her. I just wanted you to feel a piece of what I felt. But that's not how we should handle things." It wasn't fair. For the first time in a long while, we truly talked. No shouting, no accusations, just honesty. We peeled back all the layers that had built up between us. The resentment, the distance, the unspoken frustrations. We didn't justify what either of us had done, but we understood where it all came from. We promised one another that night that we would never allow our marriage to sink that low again. Rebuilding trust wasn't easy. It took time, patience, and a lot of difficult conversations. But strangely, that night, the worst night of our relationship, became the turning point that eventually made our marriage stronger than it had ever been. Even so, I'll never forget what happened, and neither will she.